Hello, lovelies, and welcome to this full body yoga. Making your way down towards your mat, grabbing yourself some blocks or any other props you like to use in your practice, before making your way to a tabletop position in the center of the mat. Hands directly underneath shoulders, knees directly underneath hips. Tucking the belly button back towards the spine. Take an inhale, dropping that belly down towards the floor. Arch the spine, gaze comes up. As you exhale, tuck the belly button back, separate the shoulder blades, taking out cat-cows. Inhale, drop the belly, gaze is the last thing to come up. Before exhaling, push the floor away from you with the hand so you can dome the upper back. Inhaling and exhaling. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. And exhale. Nice. Return the spine back to neutral. Reaching that right foot back behind you. Option to have the toe on the floor or lifting it up parallel to the hip. Take an inhale, bring the knee in towards the chest and extend it back out. Option to have the left hand extended too here. Inhale, bring them both together. Exhale, push out. Take an inhale, squeeze. Exhale and extend. Keep going, keep pulling belly button back. Last one. Really nice. Keep the leg lifted, pop the left hand down towards the floor, and then cross the right leg back so it's next to the left leg. Turn the left leg out so you're in this fallen plank pose, this modified plank. Reach the right hand up towards the ceiling. Before starting to sink the hips down towards the floor so you're slightly off the mat here, left leg is in towards the right thigh, reaching up and over with the left hand, have a little bit of a side bend. Before placing that left hand back on the mat, making your way back to our starting position with the leg lifted before dropping that knee down to the floor. Let's go on the left side. So extend the left foot out back behind you. If you've done so on the other side, extend that right hand out in front of you. On your next inhale, bring the knee and the elbow together in the center of the body. Exhale, extend out. Inhale, coming in. Exhale out and keep going in your own time, firing up that core. Last one. And then pop that right hand down towards the mat, extend the left foot back. Extend it over so it's right next to those right toes before turning that right leg out, reaching the hand up and over. Drop the hips down towards the floor. Let's have that side bend. Left hand sliding down the leg. There's no need to go really deep here. We're just bringing some opening to the side of the body. Eventually making your way so that right hand pops on the floor, spinning yourself back round to that tabletop position. Tuck the toes under, push the hips up and back for your downward facing dog. Option here to take some pedals off the feet. Warm up the back of the legs or maybe take any other movements that you'd like to take in your downward facing dog before eventually finding some stillness. And continuing to open up the legs, bringing the right hand back towards the left shin or ankle. Gently inching the chest a tiny bit closer towards the legs. Keep reaching the heels down towards the mat as much as you can before releasing that hand back to a normal downward facing dog so we can go on the other side. So this time bringing the left hand back towards the right shin or ankle. Release the hand out in front of you. And exaggerate the bend in your knees. So really bend the knees now and really think about getting a nice long spine. On your next exhale, straighten up those legs, trying to keep the chest where it is. So inhale, bend the knees. Exhale, push the heels down towards the floor. Inhale, bend. Exhale, push the bum up. Last one. Nice. Returning back to a normal downward facing dog before shifting your weight forward over the hand so you can find your plank pose. Option to hold here, otherwise extend that right foot behind you. Hold it here for a moment before popping it down, swapping over, reach the left foot back. And return it back to your normal plank. Take an inhale as you exhale, lower down through a chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, roll over the feet for your downward facing dog. Take an inhale, reach that right foot up and back behind you, opening up the hip. So bringing that right heel towards the left glute as much as you can. Keep pushing chest back towards the leg. As you exhale, bring that foot at the top of the mat in between the hands. Ground that back foot at a 45-degree angle and come up with the torso. Option to step that left foot in slightly so you can really square off those hips. You have options with the hands here. Either grab hold of each elbow, maybe interlace the fingers behind the back. Otherwise, see if you can find prayer behind the back. Take an inhale once you've found the arm position. Before exhaling, folding over that front leg, try to keep the hips exactly where they were. Gaze is to the right big toe. Keep reaching forward with the chest rather than trying to get the forehead to the leg. Keep pulling up through that right quad to protect the back of the knee. Think about pulling the right hip backwards as the left hip pulls forward. On your next inhale, pull yourself back up to standing. Gently bend into that front leg so you can shift the weight off of the back leg and guide that left leg either onto the shin. Maybe you can guide it up with the left hand into the inner right thigh for your tree pose. Once you have, bring the hands to heart center. We won't be here for long. Keep squeezing before placing that foot on the floor, bending into a chair pose. Sink nice and deep. Exhaling, fold over the legs. Take an inhale, reach that chest forward for your flat back. Exhale, plant the hands, step or jump back through your vinyasa. Take an inhale, open the chest for your upward facing dog. Exhale, roll over, downward facing dog. Let's do that on the left side. So on your next inhale, bring that left foot up and back behind you, open up that hip, reaching that left foot towards the right glute. Take one more breath here. Before reaching that left leg towards the top of the mat in between the hands, coming up with the torso, straighten up that front leg, plant that back foot on the floor. Taking the same hand position you took on the other side, take an inhale, lift your chest. Exhaling, fold over that front leg, gaze comes to the left big toe. This time, thinking about pulling the left hip backwards, right hip forwards, and pulling yourself forward with the chest rather than the forehead. Last breath. On your next inhale, come back up to standing, same as the other side, bend into that front leg so you can shift the weight forward, coming into your tree pose. Again, either resting that foot on the shin or the thigh, just avoiding the knee area. Hands are at heart center. Before gently releasing that leg to come and find your chair pose. Exhaling, fold over the legs. Inhale, reaching the chest forward, flat back. Exhale, plant the hands, hop, step or jump back through your vinyasa. Take an inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, roll over, downward facing dog. When you're ready, release the knees down towards the floor, but don't let them touch yet. Hover them for a couple of seconds. Nice. Before releasing down, sitting up on your shins so the bum is away from the heels. We're going to take a little back bend here now. So bring the hands behind the back, fingertips facing upwards or maybe slightly out to the side if you've got a short torso and it feels like it's pinching your fingers. Inhale, lift your chest up and maybe start to go into a little back bend here. As you think about pushing your hips forward, use the hands to encourage yourself to push those hips forward, but still think about lifting up in the chest. Before gently coming up and pop those sit bones down towards the heels. Maybe take a rock from side to side. We're going to go again, so just take a moment to release anything in the spine before going again. So sitting up, making sure your knees are about hip distance apart. There's a little bit of a gap there. Try to keep the shins and the feet in line with the knees. Option to do what we just done. Otherwise, you can reach the left hand back towards the heel. If the heel seems too far away, tuck the toes under to bring them a little bit closer to you. But still thinking about pushing those hips forward. Imagine those hands are still on your lower back. Keep lifting upwards with the chest. And maybe even drop the head back. Last breath. Really nice. Gently making your way out and up with the torso before Coming down to a child's pose, bring the knees as wide as the mat. Bring the toes together, rest the chest down towards the floor. Find a nice steady breath here. And maybe think about sinking a little bit deeper through the chest so you can release the back and the shoulders. And make your way back up with the torso, just rolling over the shins to find your sit bones once you have. Extend the right foot out in front of you as you arrive, and then bring the left leg over the leg, flexing that front foot. Sole of the left foot is on the floor. Bringing the right hand behind you, resting the left hand on the thigh, twisting open the chest. Keep pushing through that right heel. Taking another breath here. Before unraveling the spine, let's go the opposite way. Keep the legs where they are. This time the left leg hand comes behind you. Inhale, reach the right hand up. Before you exhale, twist over towards that left side. Hook the arm onto the thigh to help you twist a tiny bit deeper. Think about sitting nice and tall in the spine. Keep pressing that left big toe into the mat. Before unraveling the spine, take a little counter twist to the opposite side. And extend that left leg out in front of you. Bring the right leg over the left. Sole of the foot is on the floor. Left foot is flexed as much as you can. First, open up the chest to the left so the left hand can come behind you. Maybe grab hold of that right leg to help you open up a little bit more. Last one. And then unravel the spine, going the opposite way. Bring the right hand behind you. Take an inhale, reach that left hand up. Exhale and twist over towards the right. Hook the arm onto the thigh. Pushing the chest open a little bit more. Sitting nice and tall. Again, keep thinking about pushing that right toe, the right big toe, into the mat. And then gently start to unravel that spine. Taking the little counter twist to the opposite side. Coming up with the torso. And really find your sit bones. So we can take a little Navasana here. So try to bring the shins parallel to the floor. You can keep hold of the thighs, hold in here, squeeze the belly. For one last breath, we're almost there. Nice, crossing the shins over, step back to a plank. On your next exhale, lower down. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, roll over, downward facing dog. Keep reaching those heels down towards the mat. Lift that tailbone up. Pushing the torso back towards the thighs. And then eventually start to walk those hands back towards the feet so you're at the back of your mat. Once you've arrived, take those two-piece fingers, wrap them around the big toes, take an inhale, lift the chest. Before exhaling, fold the body over for your Padangusthasana. Your elbows drop out towards the sides, pulling yourself closer towards the legs. But again, think about trying to find as much length as you can in the spine, so avoid thinking about bringing the forehead to the knee. Really nice, lifting the chest up slightly, creating some space so you can wiggle the feet out to the sides of the mat. Bring the toes slightly wider than the heels so you can pop the hips down in between the legs. If you need to pop a block underneath your sit bones, absolutely fine. Otherwise, hold in here. In your Malasana, your yogi squat, think about pushing the legs outwards. Using the thighs as well as the arms to do this. Really nice. Before releasing the hands down towards the mat, the knees will follow so you can find a tabletop position, and we'll take those cat-cows again. So on your next inhale, drop that belly down, gaze comes up. Exhale, dome those shoulders. Two more, inhaling. And exhaling. And last one, inhale. Exhaling. Returning the spine back to a neutral position. Cross the shins over so you can roll over them, finding your sit bones. And once you have, bring the right leg out in front of you, aiming to get the ankle in line with the shin. And see if you can pop that left ankle on top of the right knee. If this is really uncomfortable, just release that left leg in front of you so you're in a cross-legged position. Or feel free to place a block on top of the right foot and underneath the left knee. Have a moment here, play around with what's comfortable for you. And then you have the option to close the eyes down. Bringing that focus inwards, maybe paying extra attention to your breath. Following it in and out, the option to stay here in this position. Otherwise, you can bring the fingertips to either side of the body and maybe reach the left hand up and over for a gentle side bend. Relaxing the top shoulder. One more breath. Returning back through center, keep going, so the left fingertips will drop towards the floor, right hand will reach up and over. Again, the right shoulder is aiming to release away from the shoulder. And return back to center. Swapping the legs over now, so release the legs and then bring that left foot out in front of you, again trying to get the ankle in line with the knee, before placing that right foot on top. Again, take a moment to see how this feels. It might feel different on this side, so if you need to come to a normal cross-legged position, absolutely fine, or if you need to use any other blocks, take this time to do so. Closing the eyes down if you haven't already. Finding that breath. And then if you've done so on the other side and you would like to do so this side, bring the fingertips to either side of the body. Reaching the right hand up first this time so it can come up and over. Holding here for one last deep breath. Return yourself back to center. Keep going so the right fingertips drop down towards the floor as the left hand reaches up and over. And returning back to center. Gently release that leg, maybe wiggle the legs out if you need to, and eventually make your way so you're sitting with the legs extended out in front of you. Hold the arms out in front of you and slowly roll down through the spine. Last bit of core work here. Take as long as you need. See how slow you can go before arriving to laying flat on your mat. If the legs aren't there already, bring them as wide as the mat. Bring the palms even wider, having the palms facing upwards for your final relaxation pose, your Shavasana. As always, holding here for as long as you need today.